So let's get started. So actually we have covered theoretical part for logical replication. So now we can go the practical things. So this is just to recap. Actually we have source system and we have target. So we are going to set up a logical replication. So only main important parameter that we need to consider is wall level, as well as we have max wall centers and replication slots. Okay, that parameters we have to enable at the source side as well as at the target side. And we are going to create the publication at the source, and we are going to add whatever the objects you need as a part of logical replication. All the tables we are going to add here. And at the target side, we are going to create a subscription. In the subscription, we are going to register this publication, which objects you have to replicate as a part of this replication. So that we are going to register in a subscription. Okay. So this we are going to set up now, right now. So I have, this is the source system. This is just a new cluster I have built it. And I have target system, which is IP is 1.11. Okay, so I have 1.18. So I'm considering this as a source and this as a target. Okay. Now, the first and most important thing is we have to enable the necessary parameters. Okay, for now, I don't have any databases since it is a new cluster. So we can also create that. So first, let me go and change necessary parameters in the PostgreSQL.conf, like all the mandatory parameters, which is listener, port, and wall level. So wall level should be logical, right? Because this is a logical replication. We should have logical here instead of replica. Replica is suitable for physical replication, right? And we need max wall senders and max replication slots, because it creates the logical replication, right? Logical replication slots. So we are going to enable these parameters. Okay. So this is enough for logical replication. Okay. And one more important thing is, let's create a user, because we need that user from target system to authenticate and pull the data, right? For this, I'm trying to create a user. Username can be anything. For now, I'm just giving logical replication user. Okay. And I'm going to grant as a super user, and password, I'm giving the same password. So I have created this user. So I will use this user as a part of the replication, and I will add this user because we need to allow this user, right? So I'm going to add this user in the hpa.conf file. Okay, so let's add this user and IP of your primary and target as well. Okay, I'm going to add log rep user, and I'm going to add the IPs of my primary and standby. 168.1.18 is my primary. Either you can add it separately or you can allow the range. Okay, if you just mention .0/24, even that works. Okay, or else you can add like this, both separately. You want to add primary and standby details like this. Okay, my primary IP is 1.18 and my standby IP is 1.11. Okay, and I have just added the authentication as MD5. Okay, so like this I can add, or you can add directly one IP with CADR format, and you can allow the range of IPs here instead of adding separate. Anything works. Okay, based on your requirement, you can add it. Now let's restart the cluster. Since we added necessary parameters and hpa.conf. There is something wrong. Okay, let's go and see somewhere syntax issue. Okay, so here it is telling okay, actually the hpa.conf we have some syntax issue. Let's go and see. We have to add in the format like this. Okay, cadr format /32 /32. Okay, let's restart right now. Okay, now cluster is started. Okay, and we can just verify our parameters which we added. So we have the parameter added. Okay, so this is how we added the necessary parameters, and we created a replication user. We added that user, so we allowed that user in the hpa.conf. Okay, now let me create some objects like what. Okay, since this is a new cluster, I don't have any database. I'm just trying to create a database. Like, let me give as a source DB. Okay, and for this DB, let me grant the ownership. So ownership as that user. Okay, owner logrep. So I have created a database called source DB, and the owner of the database is logrep. Okay, now I can connect to this database as this user. If you see, this is my source database. I logged in as a logrep user. Okay. Now, now we can create the necessary objects, necessary tables, what need to be added as a part of replication. Okay. Now let me create a table. Maybe I can do PMP number, data type, and main important thing is we should have at least a primary key. Okay. If you remember yesterday what we discussed, each table should have a primary key, right? Otherwise we may face some different issues. So we will also see one case like if you don't have primary key, how we can deal with this kind of tables when we add as a part of logical replication. So we'll see that scenario. For now, first we need to set up a replication, right? Now assume that I want to add this table in the replication. Okay. So for this, the main important thing is we need to add the publication, right, in the source side. So if I want to check is there any already existing publications, I have a view called PG publication tables, or I can also see from /DRP. Okay, is there any publications? Or I can see select start from PG publication tables. Okay, currently there is no publications added in the source system. Okay, now I'm going to create a new publication. Create publication. Publication name I can give anything. I'm just giving my pub1. Okay. Now while creating this publication, you want to tell for which table you need to add in this publication. For example, I want to create for EMP, right? This is the table which we want to add in the replication. Okay, so you have to just tell to the publication you are going to create for the table, okay, for table EMP. Okay, so you can just tell like this, and if you see slash select star from PG publication tables, okay, you could see this is my publication and this is my employee, and if you see this is the attributes which is a part of your employee table, and there is no row filters right now applied. Okay, you can also see with /DRP plus. Okay, okay, so as a part of this replication, if you see for now I haven't added all tables. That is the reason all tables is false. I just added one table, right? So even in future we can add all tables. That we'll see how we can add. And replications is what are the operations that will be part of replication. We have inserts. Inserts will replicate. Updates will replicate. Deletes will replicate. Truncates will replicate. But not create and alter statements will not replicate as a part of logical replication, because logical replication doesn't support the DDLs, right? We have to take care manually if any deployments we do, okay? Like create alter, that we have to take care. Now I have created this table. Let me insert some tables, so some records into this. Okay, I have this many tables. Okay, so this table is already part of my publication. So publication will capture the changes, whatever you do, like inserts, update, deletes, truncates. Okay, in this table, it will capture and it will wall senders will capture those changes and sends in the form of logical messages to the target. So now at the target side, what we have to do, we have to create the subscription, right? Here, this also new cluster. Okay, let me create a database. Target TB. So for now, if I want to check, is there any subscriptions created in this mission? Okay, if you just do /DRS, there is no subscriptions, or you can also see it from select star from PG stat subscriptions. Okay, right now there is no subscriptions created. Okay, so this is new cluster, so I'm just creating these databases. But if you already have a database and if you already have a schema and set of tables, you can directly add those in the publication subscription. Okay, you don't need to create any new databases and something. And now, as we know, this table DDL will not replicate. So the same table I'm going to create in the target. Okay, so the same table I'm going to create in the target. I'm not replicating any, I'm not inserting any data. Okay, when you create subscription will automatically capture the initial load of this source system and it has to replicate, right? For this, I'm going to create the subscription. Create subscription. I'm going to create my subscription name as my sub one. Okay, you can give any name. For now, I'm just creating this name and I'm going to give the connection details. Okay. So you have to pass, it has, your subscription has to connect to your source, right? So source IP is 192.168.1.18, right? And for which DB I have to connect? So my database name is source DB, right? And which user I'm going to connect with the logical replication user, right? And I'm also going to pass the password because the authentication method which I have given is MD5. If you give trust, you don't need to pass this password in the subscription. Okay. And you are going to create the subscription with the source connection details. And you will also need to tell for which publication it has to register. So you have to give publication. What is my publication name here? So just give, instead of star, just give normal. Okay, this is my publication name, my pub1. Okay, so this is how you need to add. Okay, something syntax issue. Let me check exactly what is the syntax. -h will give you a help command. Create subscription name connection. Okay, so let me go here and just give as a connection, not connect. Create subscription name, connection, and the host details and everything. Okay, so subscription has been created. Now if I just check, my subscription has been created. And if you give select start from PG stat subscription, you will get the details. Okay, here if you see, you will get the subscription name and it gives a PID, and it is receiving the LSN number and the what is the last message it has sent, the timings and when it received, and what is the end LSN number. It captures these details. Okay, now let me check the table data whether it has replicated or not. If you see, your data has been replicated, right? Because I haven't inserted any data in the target. Whenever you create the subscription will take care of doing an initial load. It captures the snapshot and it replicates the data. Okay. And let me go in the source side and let me insert few more records. Maybe I can just insert. So 2 records has been inserted. Let me check. So the 2 records has immediately inserting in the target system as well. So this is how you can create the publication and subscription, okay, at the source and target. Now, since I have only one table, if I have like hundreds of tables, okay, so for this, whenever you create the publication here in the publication, I have added for only one table, right? So what you can do is you can just give like this something instead of one table. If you want for all the tables, you want to add, okay. So for this, I can just mention for all tables. If you have 100 tables, all 100 tables will be part of this publication and all the 100 tables will replicate to the target system. Okay. Not only this table. Since I have only one table, I have added this. Or if you want to replicate everything in the schema, all the objects in the schema, you can just go and do like this. Create publication name for all tables in schema. You can use schema 1, schema 2, schema 3, and so on. If you want to replicate some 3 schemas as a part of this publication, okay, you can directly add those schemas in this publication. And it's always recommended that you have to segregate the historical table and transactional tables, and you can create separate publication for those kind of tables. Okay, it's not like everything you have to add in the same publication. Just to divide the load, you can just create the other publication and you can add schema 1 for one publication, schema 2, or you can just divide the tables like historical table in one set and transactional table in another set. So you can create separate publication, and you can also create the separate subscription for this, or you can use the same subscription as well. Okay. So like this you can create. Now what we can do, we can just do one scenario. Like if I want to add a new table, and that new table I have to add in the replication. Okay, for example, I'm going to add a new table called stock or something department, and that new table I need to add in the replication. How we can do that? Okay, so before that, I have another view, okay, which is, yesterday we have seen one view, right? Which they have introduced in the latest version, right? 15 version. PG replication, PG subscriptions, something they have introduced, right? So, okay, this is just to show the subscription LSM details on the state. Okay. Let me check exactly what is that view. So let's start from let's check the PG subscriptions. Yeah, so this is one more view. Okay. In the PG subscription, we could see currently the subscription is enabled. Okay. and this is the connection details, and this is my subscription, and this subscription has registered for this publication. Okay, so this is one more view where you can check all these details. Okay, this view they have introduced from a new version. Okay, 15 version, whether it is registered or not. Okay, and they have also introduced one more view where you can check the, let's stop on PG that. Okay, this is the one. Okay, so if you encounter any issues, okay, you could see from this view, apply error count. Okay, for now we don't have any errors. Okay, if you encounter any issues, you could be able to find there. Okay, so this also we'll see one example how we can we can see one error. Okay, we can reproduce one error and we can see that. And as usual, you can also monitor the replication with PG stat underscore replication. This is for physical replication also we can see, right? The same view we can use for logical replication as well. If you see, I have the username as logrep, which I've created, and this is my application, which is my source. Okay, my subscription is connecting to my publication, and this is my IP. And if you see here, it is an asynchronous replication, and all this is sync. Okay, which means it is in sync. We don't have any gap. Even logical replication also you can monitor with PG stats replication if you found any gap between both the source and target system. The same view you can use. And as usual, you can also use the replication slots, right? So basically it creates a logical replication slots. Let me check this replication. PG replication slots. So if you see, it has created the logical replication slot, and this is my database. Currently it is active, and this is the last LSN, restart LSN, which it has. Okay, so these details also you can see from PG stat replication. So sorry, PG stat replication slots. So in the replication slot, we'll keep on monitor your replication. If it finds any gap, it will not allow you to delete any archives from the source. Okay, so automatically replication slot will be created. And if you see here, PS minus script postgres, you could see here wall sender is going to send as a logical replication user to the target system, right? And if you just check the target, PS minus script, if you remember in the architecture, we have a new process called logical replication launcher, right? Who will sponsor the replication workers to replicate your data, right? So your subscription has currently using this replication worker, and this replication worker will take care of the data, whatever coming from the source, it will keep on applying in the target system. Okay, these are the two which we have seen in the architecture. So these are the two background process who will take care of the logical replication. Now, let me add a new table, and that table I want to have connected to the source DB. Right now, I have only one table, right, which is EMP. Now I'm going to add another table, and this table I want to add as a part of replication. So for this, what I can do, I'm just trying to create another table, maybe any table name I'm going to create as a stock. I need to give the data type, and important thing is primary key. Okay, don't forget to about this primary key. If you forget about the primary key, then we may face some other issues that will show in next case how we can fix that issues. Okay, stock name, and I'm going to give a data type arcan. Okay, I've created this table, and the same table let me go and create in the target, because DDLs will not work, right? So I'm going to create the same table in the target system. Now, Let me insert few records here. Insert into the stock ID is something and stock name any. So any names, okay? So I have just inserted few records in this table. But if you remember, still this table is not part of your publication, right? If you see slash select star from PG publication underscore tables, here for now in this publication we have only one table. Now I have created another table, and this table I want to add into my existing publication. I don't want to create a new publication. I want to add this table in the existing publication. So how I can do? Just do alter publication, publication name, add table. And what is the table name? Stock, right? So like this, you can add the new tables into the existing publication. Okay. Now if you see select start from publication, now even this table is added into this publication, right? So like this you can add, and there is no row filter applied for now. We will see another scenario how we can do that. So like this, I have added the publication to my existing table. Now let me go and see whether it has replicated any data. In the target system. So for now, there is no data in the target system. Why? Because you added a new table in the publication, but your subscription doesn't know that you have added a new table, right? We also need to tell to the subscription that some table has been added, okay? How we can add that in the subscription? Basically, you need to refresh your subscription so that it will read from the publication. So this is currently my subscription, right? So what I can do, alter subscription name, refresh publication. Okay. Now let me go and check the data is replicated or not. Now your data has been replicated. So this is one more important point you need to remember. Whenever you add any new tables in the publication, okay, you have to refresh your subscription. Then only your subscription is aware that you have added a new table, and it also replicate that as well with the initial load. Okay. So otherwise it will not replicate. So you have to refresh your subscription like this. So this is the procedure how you need to add the new table in the existing publication. Okay. Now we'll see one more example. I want to add a new table in the existing publication, but without primary key. So we'll see what happens without primary key if I add any table in the replication. We'll see what happens. Okay. So for now, we have seen two cases. One case is how we can set up a logical replication, how we can add the new publication and subscription. And we have also seen case two, like how we can add a new table in the existing publication. Okay, these two scenarios we have seen. Now the third scenario is when I create a table without primary key, how we can handle and what issues we may get without primary key, that we'll see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new table. Maybe I will try to create a new table, any name. You can, I'm just creating as a department, okay? And it has two columns, department ID, int. Okay, I'm not giving any primary key here. I can just use department name. I created this table and I'm going to insert few records into this table. Okay, so I've created a new table without primary key. If you remember, I have created without primary key. Okay, so this point we can remember, and we can just check the publication. Still, we haven't added this table into the publication, right? That is the reason it is not showing. Now let me add this new table into my publication. If you say select star from PG publication tables, for now we have only two tables in the publication. Now I'm going to add the new department table which I have created into my publication. How we can do? Alter publication, publication name, add table, department, right? So this new publication, the publication name is this. Okay. Now if you say select star from PG publication tables, the new table is also added as a part of your publication and it has it in the replication, right? Now in the subscription side, we know that we have to refresh, right? Otherwise, even we have to create the same table in the target, right? First of all, we have to create this. And here also I created without any primary key, right? So I have just created this table as well. And as usual, this will not replicate, right? You have to refresh your subscription. So let me go and refresh that. Now you can just do select star from department. It is replicated, right? So you may be wondering that even though without primary key, how it got replicated. So we don't have any issues, right? So now let's see what issues we may get. Okay, let me go here. And this is my department table. Now let me do delete from department where department ID equal to 10. For example, I want to delete the new table. So what it says, cannot delete from table because it does not have a replica identity and publishes deletes. To enable deleting from the table, set replica identity using alter table. So what does this mean? It is telling we have to add a unique identity to the table like primary key or unique key. Otherwise, you cannot perform any delete statement or update statement. Even let me try to do an update statement. Update department set. Maybe I will try to change anything. So department ID equal to 40, where department name equal to something, any name, okay? So even for update also it is telling the same issue, right? Replica identity cannot be fine, okay? So which means without primary key, if you add anything, your inserts will work, but your updates and deletes will not work, okay? Maybe by mistake, any DBA has added this table without seeing this as whether it has any primary key or not in the replication. Now, what is the situation? Now you want to replicate this inserts and deletes as well. Okay, maybe your deployment is failing, or you need to immediately do a delete and update statements in this situation, and that also you want to replicate into the target system. Okay. For this purpose, what we can do, but this is not a good practice. You have a workaround to do this, but it's not recommended way. So basically how the logical replication works, it will replicate based on the replica identity. Okay. So it will not go and check for each and every row and each and every column to replicate. Based on the replica identity only, it will immediately replicate the data very easily, right? If you don't have replica identity, what it does, it will read the entire rows for all columns and then it will replicate. Okay, so for this, what I can do, I can just tell alter table, table name. This is just a workaround, okay, to avoid this situation. So replica identity full. So what does this mean? This means I'm telling to the publication that read the entire row, okay? Which means you have to read the entire row for all columns. Okay, you are giving the identity as a full, just to avoid this situation for now. This is just a workaround. Now you can go and do a delete statement, what you want to do, and you can just go and do an update statement, whatever you want. Okay. Okay, since that ID is not there, it has. Okay. So now you can do an update and delete. Okay, but this is not recommended. This will impact your performance because it has to, your publication and subscription has to read the entire row for all columns. Okay, again you can disable this. You have to just give nothing. Okay, you have disabled your full identity right now. And if you go and see, the delete statement would have already executed in the target system as well. Okay, but this is not recommended in, especially in production. This will impact your performance because here right now we have very few records, so you don't face any issues, but this will impact your performance. You should not do the replica identity full. If you do, then it will consume more CPU resources and it reads your entire table for all columns and it has to do a replication. So that is the reason this is not a recommended way. Okay, now I have disabled my replica identity full, which means it has to be identify any identity with any primary key or unique key. Okay. Now, if you do the same thing, delete statement where department equal to 20, it will not allow right now because it has to be like this. Okay. This is the issues you will face whenever you create any table without primary key, and if you add that table in the replication, so you may not do any deletes and updates, but your inserts will work. I try to insert. Insert is just, it will generate as a copy command and it will replicate right in the target. So it's just a simple task and it doesn't require any identity and something. But if you do any delete and update with a where condition, then it will look for identity. So that time you may face issue. Okay, so I'm trying to create any. You have this data right now. You can just see your data is replicated right now. So your inserts will not have a problem, but your updates and deletes will have a problem. Okay, this is one more scenario. If your table doesn't have any primary key, what issues we may face, we can see this. Even this error you can also observe in the alert log. So you can enable the alerting, and if you see, you got an error. So you can just basically, if you use any monitoring tools, okay, it will check for any errors. Okay, or if you have your own script to enable your monitoring with shell script or something, if you found any errors in the alert log, it has to notify to the DBA team, something like this. Okay, so like this you can notify, and based on that you can take an action. So even this all errors will be logged in the alert log. Okay, now let's go and do one more case. Okay, for now we have seen these three cases, right? So now what I'm trying to do, for example, if I want to alter any column to the existing tables, which is in the publication subscription. Okay, what I can do that? How I can do that? For example, I have a table called stock, right? So now I have two columns in this particular table. Now I want to add a new column in the table because your alter and create statements will not replicate as a part of logical replication until version 16. From 17, you have DDL replication as well, right? So, but until that, DB has to take care of your DDL statements. Now what I'm do, I will just try to add a new column in this alter table. Add column. Column name, I can give anything like maybe location. Okay. So let me give varchar. Now if you see select start from stop, this is my um, new column which I added. Okay, let me do some update statement. So this is my new column which I have added. So if you go and check in the target, because in the target, the column itself will not replicate, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to uh, add the same column, whatever I have added in the source, in the target as well. Where is this alter statement? Yeah. Okay, now if you see, your data is not replicated right now. Okay, because your subscription it doesn't aware that you have added a column. Even though if you do a refresh, it will not. Okay, let me do a refresh. Alter subscription, refresh publication. Okay, so if you do a refresh, it is picking up. So basically, you can also do the other way. You can just disable the subscription, and once you do any changes in the source, okay, you can again enable. So even instead of refreshing, you can disable and enable your subscription as well. Even that way will work. Okay, this is how you can add a new column. Only thing is you have to add at the both sides and you have to refresh your subscription, or you can disable the subscription and you can enable that. How we can disable and enable? For example, alter subscription name. Okay, disable, and you add your column and again enable it. It will replicate your data as well. Okay, even that way it works. Okay, this is how you can add any new columns. You have to take it manually as a DBA. This we have to remember. Otherwise, your DDS will not replicate as a part of logical replication. Now, let's see one example how we can do a row filter. So we know that in 15C we have, sorry, in 15 version of Postgres, we have a new feature called row filter, right? So we can only replicate a set of data based on my condition. So how we can do that? Let me create a new table. Anything, application table 1. You can give any columns, primary key. I'm trying to insert Okay, I have inserted some records into this table. Okay, now what I want to do, I don't want, okay, let me insert one more record, maybe. Okay, so I have this many records right now. As a part of my replication, I don't want all records. I want based on some condition, maybe if you want to do some condition, maybe salary greater than some 2000 or 3000. So you can only filter that records as a part of replication. So for now, I have created this new table, but your publication doesn't aware that this table has to be replicated, right? You want to add into your publications, this new table, if you want to part of replication, that way I want to apply the row filter here, right? So how we can do it? So while adding the publication, you have to tell the row filter as well, like based on which condition you want to replicate your data. So before that, let me go and create the same table in my target system first, because this is your create statements will not replicate, right? So I'm going to create the same table in my target. Now here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add the filter, alter publication name, okay, add table name. This is usual, right? It will replicate our entire table, but I don't want my entire table. I want only some set of data, maybe salary greater than 2000 or something. Here what I can do, where condition you can use, okay, for filter. This feature they have introduced from 15 version, okay. So before that you don't have this feature. Maybe I can give 2000. You see, select short from publication. You have a row filter right now for this table. The row filter is only these records will inserted in the target system, right? So if you go and see, your data will not be replicated right now because you have to refresh your subscription, right? Okay, still it is not replicated. First, let's see whether our okay, something errors. Okay, so the few errors which we got previously based on our primary key, right? So we also have some more errors related to this. Let's go and see whether our subscription is really working or not. So we have a view called PG stat. Let's the subscription is enabled right now. It should replicate basically. Oh, now it replicated because somewhere it has struck. Okay, if you see here, the row filter has been applied. Okay, probably the target subscription may be restarted or something. Okay, it has taken some time. If you see here, it has only replicated the some set of data based on the condition, right? So if you see here, I have added the condition where salary greater than 2000, but basically it has 4 records. It has only replicated these 2 records based on the condition. This is how you can add the row filter condition as well. This feature came from version 15. Okay, previously we don't have that. Okay, so if you go to the alert log, okay, so previously it is telling the stock table is missing. This we already added. Okay. If you see here, replication worker exited. It has the subscription has been exited and it has automatically started as well. That is the reason immediately it hasn't replicated. Okay, because previously actually I have added this table after I added in my publication, right? So before you add this table in the source in the publication, you have to create this table in the target immediately. Then only it will identify. Okay, otherwise your in the target system, your replication worker process will look for this table.
If this table is not there, then probably it may face issue. Okay. So like this, you can also monitor in the alert log as well how the replication is going on. Okay. Or you have a view, right? So if you want to check, okay, here whether replication is enabled or not, here it has to be true. Okay, if it is false, then your replication is disabled right now and it will not replicate any data. Okay, this is one row filter condition we can see. Okay, and now we can see the other scenario. For example, if you have some conflicts, okay, maybe your data conflicts, we have an option called alter subscription skip with so with disable on error equal to true, right? We have a condition, we have an option in the subscription side. That feature we have in the 15 version, right? So for this, what I can do, let me create a table. Only one column is enough, okay? So here I have created a table without any constraints. Okay, we'll see how we can use our new feature like alter subscription skip option with disable on error condition. How we can handle that situation, we'll see. How we can skip that error, like golden gate, how we can skip with the rep error, right? Similarly, how we can do that, we can see one scenario. So insert into two values. I'm going to just insert some 3 or 4 records for now. Okay, I have inserted this table, and the same table I'm going to create in the target, because you have to create immediately after you add into your application. If you try to add your subscription, look for this table and it may fail. Okay, so what I will do, I'm going to create the same table in the target, but here I'm going to create with constraint, like maybe unique or primary key, whatever you want. Okay, in the source I don't have this. Okay, but in the target I have created this this constraint. Okay, unique constraint. Now either you can add in the existing publication or you can create a new subscription. Okay, better I will go with a new publication. Okay, and we'll see how we can add at the subscription side. I will create another subscription for this particular table. So for this, I'm going to create publication my pub2. Okay, for table for this table. Now if you say select start from PG publication tables, I have another publication which is my pub2, and as a part of this publication I have only this table for now, which is replicating. Okay, and there is no row filter right now. So now I have already created my table in the target with unique key. Now I'm going to create a new subscription, right? Because I have to tell to the subscription that this publication has to be replicated. So my subscription name is my sub2. Okay, and as usual, you have to do the connection details, right? Connection host equal to 192.168.18, right? And my DB name, source DB, and my username, log user, and my password. And now I have to register this to which publication? My pub2, right? What it is telling? Okay, not username, maybe only user. Okay, I have created my subscription as well. Okay, so if you want to see, you can just see this is my publication. It is right now enabled. Okay, now if I just check, your initial load would have already been done for this table, which is already replicated. Now what I will do, I will try to insert duplicate records here. So because in the source you don't have any constraints, it will allow you to insert duplicate, but in the target side, it will not allow. Okay, in this scenario, how we can handle, but I want to skip that error. Okay, as a part of replication. what I will do, I will try to insert again one more row, which is a duplicate row. And if you see select start from rep tab 2, it is replicated. But whereas if you see here, it will not allow. And let's see whether your replication is working or not. Okay. And how we can skip that particular. Okay. Actually, my bad. Actually, while adding my subscription, I have to add with a new feature called, okay, let me drop the subscription and let me add it again, because first let me delete this record. It is not having a, okay, let me drop this entire table and let me create again. Okay. So basically, while creating your subscription, you have to add one more option called disable on error equal to true. If you not add that condition, you will face a, you cannot able to skip, because that feature they added in the 15 version. So while creating subscription only, you have to add that option. So without that option, I have added, right? So you may end up with some different issues, because I'm not using that disable on error equal to true condition. Okay, so that is the reason I'm going right now with the full replica. Rep tab 2. And I'm going to delete this records for now. And let me make it back. Okay, for now I have only 2 records, but here you could see that okay. So you have here the other as well, right? So now what I will try to do is, let me drop subscription, my sub 2. I will add it again. Okay. My subscription has been dropped, and now I can delete this record as well from this here, so that it will be both will be synced. Okay, now I have this same tables. I mean, source and the target, I have same records right now. Now I'm going to create a new subscription here. Before that, I will also try to insert the other record. Yeah, I've inserted 100 because 100 is not there. I'm going to create one more record, 4. Okay, so if you choose select start from replication, we don't have any duplicate right now. And here, I'm going to create subscription with another option called disable on error equal to true. So by default, it will be false. Okay, I will show you in one of the query as well. Now I created the subscription with this option. What is the advantage of this option? Because your subscription will automatically disable whenever you have any kind of conflicts like this. Okay, and DB has an opportunity to disable that particular subscription, that particular transaction in the subscription side, and you can continue your replication. Okay, so usually we used to do in Golden Gate, right? So similarly, we can do here. Let's do what we should do. What I will do, alter subscription. Okay, so probably it will not allow for this option, it looks like. For disable subscription option, for this option, it is not allowing for refresh. This is something bug it seems. Okay, now what I will try to do, I will try to insert another record. Let's see if it is replicating or not. It's not replicating, right? Okay, so this scenario we'll see tomorrow because today we are already running out of time. And so tomorrow we'll see the same issue, like how we can use this alter subscription feature. Okay, and why it is not allowing this also, I will take a look once, and probably we can catch up tomorrow for the other features, like how we can use in the 15 version, like this alter subscription skip transaction, and we'll also see from some other scenarios as well. Okay, tomorrow. Yeah, so do you have any questions right now? Just leave about this disable on the other thing. Okay, that we'll see tomorrow. Any other questions so far today? Malati, Sadhan, Abhishek.
Yeah, one question you had shown us how to disable the subscription, right? So similarly, we should be able to disable the publication also, right?
Yes, we can do that. We can able to disable and enable whenever we want. Okay, publication subscription as well. We can do that.
Yeah, the example you had showed us about adding the new column.
Correct.
So before adding the new column, we can disable the publication and add the new column on both source and target, and then
we can
start the publication, right?
Correct. Yeah. Okay. Basically, in real time, we don't need at the publication side. Basically, we need at the subscription side. So people will do like whenever you add a new column. In the publication side, we never.
It will avoid the
conflicts or anything.
No, it will avoid the error messages in the alert log, right?
Yeah, it will avoid, and that is a good practice. If you add any column at the source, you can add it immediately. You can add in the target, but before that, you can disable the subscription and you can add it and again enable it. So that is a good practice actually.
One other question, does this logical replication support sequences?
Yes, it will support sequences as well. It will support, like in a schema, whatever objects you have, it will support.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so if no other questions, probably we can catch tomorrow to do some other scenarios in the logical replication. Okay, then thanks. Let's catch up tomorrow.